Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militiaman and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Hey everybody, good afternoon, or evening I should say. October 23rd, it's been a fine day. Getting ready for the fall. Happy Halloween to those that like to do that. By the way, in the news today, the border ports announced, actually it was yesterday, the completion of connecting all the ports to the optical cable network. I don't know about you guys, but this is really a big thing. It's because all of the ports and airports and the borders, ocean ports, everybody's hooked up to the a digital system and electronically, so it's phenomenal. So they can all communicate. It says the Border Ports Authority announced on Sunday the completion of linking all its ports to the optical cable network. So it's a fast, furious, and very transparent system that's able to, get the customs sorted out. So it says the networking team, headed by the Vice President of the Ports Authority, and under the supervision of the advisor to the Prime Minister for the Ports Affairs, was able to complete the connection of the port of Kirkuk International Airport to the optical cable, which is the last port that was linked to the network. So the international airport, that tells you a little story that if it's going to be linked to the international world, airports are international. So pretty fascinating stuff. He's basically stating that connecting the border ports to the optical cable will provide better performance and more technical advantages, speed in transferring data in very long distance through the light waves and in a secure, impenetrable way, in addition to low cost compared to traditional wire cables. So this is a big deal. They go on to tell you, in analyzing the sonar, they have the latest screens and computers, specialized staff. They've been working on this for quite some time, but the bottom line is they've got this set up to where that's what they're going to be doing from here on out, which is awesome. As far as I'm concerned, it's really good. Here's another article that's pretty fascinating too. It's Sudanese chairs, so this is Al Sudani, chairs a meeting on the unified Treasury account and electronic payment system. So if you guys watched my last few videos, we talked about the unified Treasury account. We talk about point of sales. We talk about a lot of that stuff. Okay, and well, here, if you recall, that the United States Treasury, with what control that they have, effectively is keeping a tight rein on Iraq in the sense of monitoring and making sure that their intervention is to keep the banking system up to international standards, anti-money laundering, all of those things, and that is not going to go away. And so when they talk about the unified Treasury account, if you recall, the intervention from the U.S. Federal Reserve Bank also talked about the finance ministry having some issues that they need to get resolved. And it looks like that they're talking about the unified Treasury account, okay? And that's set up. So, but you got to remember, it was on the 15th that Al Sudani said he wanted the banking system or circumstances sorted out. So he comes out on Sunday and has this to say. Okay, so that was the 15th, and on yesterday was the 22nd. So there you have, he said within a week, and boom, right on time. The guy he's pretty diligent about what he wants done, and he's been making progress. So the Prime Minister, Shia al-Sudani, chaired a meeting devoted to the completion of the unified Treasury account and the follow-up of the electronic payment system, payment points, electronic cards, a point of sales, if you will, in the presence of the Minister of Finance, and in the presence of the Governor of the Central Bank, Ali Alak, right? The President of the Federal Financial Supervision Bureau, a number of advisors, general managers, number of government banks. So there's a lot of people there that had to witness what was going on. So his statements basically stated that the meeting witnessed a presentation and follow-up of the implementation of the Unified Treasury account, the level of progress in the implementation and deployment of electronic card payment system, and the discussion of the challenges facing the public and private sector institutions. Private sector institutions is fascinating. Electronic payment companies, all of the above. They have been reviewing the facilities and the incentives that they're going to be providing for the citizens, and that's the main focus, is the citizens. So the report also has a number of things, of recommendations that were approved during the meeting, and decided to present that to the Council of Ministers. And so therefore Al-Sudani has directed the activation and the work tasks of the Payments Council in the central bank. So what they're looking for is for them to submit the final report, if they haven't already, because that's what they're looking for to get to the Council of Ministers, and basically says that the Unified Treasury Account, the Prime Minister emphasized all ministries implement the fourth paragraph of the Council of Ministers decision, which is number 3581 of 2023. So sounds like they're on a roll to do the things that they need to do. We're going to find out that there's probably a lot more going on behind the scenes. It's not totally very public, that we've been seeing from some websites like the WTO, and then the U.S. Arab Chamber of Commerce. You're going to find things that aren't totally public, well, but they are public if you know where to look, and some people do. Thanks to some of our members in our forum on Patreon with Militiaman and Crew. We have some very bright people out there, lots of them. They're on top of it as much as we are. So it's really nice to see that we get help from people, and kudos to those, and they know who they are. So it's awesome. I'm not sure if the person wants his name or his handle mentioned, but anyway, thank you very much for all your help. It goes on to say that the governor of Nineveh explains the most prominent projects currently implemented and confirms the completion of 6 bridges. So what are we talking about? When I mention the WTO, we're talking about the U.S. Arab Chamber of Commerce. They're talking about legal items. They're talking about pricing of things. They're talking about goods and services. They're talking about contracts. They're talking about tenders. They're talking about a lot of different things that go on behind the scenes that your average person has no idea that's even going on. They're just effectively looking for what we all are to some degree. Is like, when's it going to go? When's it going to happen? Right? But it's a complex process, and the awesome thing about it is that what we're seeing and in public and yet behind the scenes is showing that it's coming fast, it's coming furiously, it's good. So he says that the governance plan included establishing 1,600 projects, 1,200 of them which were implemented, and the work is continuing to the end. But look, the budget for ongoing projects will reach the government in the coming days. So the bottom line is that these projects, that's that 2023, 24, 25 budget we've been talking about, the investment side of it, they haven't funded anything, and they haven't shown any money to be spent at this stage of the game. But here he's saying the budget for ongoing projects will reach the governance in the coming days. And then if you watched my last video, and I remember I told you guys, watch that last 10 minutes of that 43-minute video, and you'll understand exactly what that means, okay? The completion of the projects may continue until next year, which is, of course, building roads, building bridges, finishing bridges takes time. Including the Mosul airport project takes time. They said, which we all have completed, which they think they'll have that completed by the end of the year. And there's plenty of the bridge projects they've already started, have been completed. So for a lot of you guys that think that they've been paying for that at 1310, you got to do your research, because they've been paying for all this stuff in dollars. If the dollar is going to end, remember, they're finally going to be done with the dollar by January. But if you remember, too, just recently, we showed that the World Trade Organization is talking about full accession in the fourth quarter, and we're in it. And they didn't say what day, they just said that we're doing it. But you got to remember, there's going to be some things that you guys haven't seen before, and it's coming to a fruition. It's pretty good. So there was 6 bridges within weeks, 100-bed hospitals, 6 large hospitals. All of these things take materials, and it takes a lot of manpower to do all of these things. And so basically you're going to see that we're going to have all these people that have this international ability to help. They're going to be working there too in the country. And we see that because of some of the, for instance, the tenders what is it? The Ministry of Electricity has pages of tenders, fresh in October. I think there's the fresh one in the Ministry of Trade. I think it was at the very beginning of October, but nonetheless, they're having tenders. It means they're going to be spending money. And so where are they going to get that money? I think we know where we're going to get that money. It says the deputy, in this particular article, says the deputy identifies points of retreat in the Sudanese government, and there's clearly only one way to solve the dollar crisis. Well, this gentleman is fascinating. He's giving al-Sudani some kudos, but he's also poking him in the eye a little bit. Because if you guys remember, al-Sudani said and confirmed to his people more than once that the dinar is stronger than the dollar. And this guy gives the reality check. Well, it's not today. It says, quote, the Sudanese confirmed that the dinar is stronger than the dollar, but the reality is currently the opposite. And he's not wrong at this moment in time. But the plan is to be, I think al-Sudani knows this. And one of the things that I'm not sure everybody realizes that there is some things that have happened even during this mission that he went on into Cairo in respect to the Israeli and Hamas conflict. One of the things that al-Sudani has done, he's been in a couple of environments where he's been at the stage for a photo op, but he never took the pictures. And one of the reasons why is that there's protocols. I think you guys would have to pay attention to some of these other articles that are out there. I don't have that particular one in front of me at the moment. I don't think I printed it out. But be aware that al-Sudani numerous times has said that he's not taking the pictures on the second row. He wants to be at the top. And the reason why he wants to be at the top front row with all the other presidents and kings and all that stuff is because he's going to do what he said he was going to do, and what the world said he was going to do at the UN, is that he's going to fix the global system. So he knows that Iraq is going to hinge on some really powerful things, and he believes, in my opinion, that he should be at the front of the line just like everybody else, especially when it comes to fixing the global financial system and bringing confidence to those big banks like JP Morgan and so forth. So yeah, be careful and watch what you see with these guys. It's really phenomenal stuff. Here this says that he basically is saying that al-Sudani needs to formulate a roadmap. Well, we all know that the roadmap is, it's the development road, which is going to be interconnected to the Silk Road, which is going to happen to end up, if you guys look at a map, and I highly suggest you do, and this is food for thought, one of the destinations of this Silk Road, and one of the destinations to the development road goes right into Gaza. So it has other destinations, but one of them is there. So trade is trade. Trade's going to be big. It's going to be a lot of money, and it's going to take care of a lot of people in a lot of different ways. And I'm assuming that the global international system is going to embrace that construction and infrastructure because it will help the global economy. That's what I see in that. And we'll go to al-Sudani, the Iraqi Fund for Development Front, right? The Iraq Fund for Development. What are they going to do? Development road project. You can't make it up. So it says this article's Iraq Fund for Development represents a modern interface for the country with international standards, okay? The first meeting of the board of directors, so the board of directors in this particular case, having their first meeting of the Iraq Fund for Development, and it was chaired by His Excellency Mohammed Shia al-Sudani. And the last session of the Council of Ministers, they had a vote on that to get the board of directors, okay? It goes on to say, during the meeting, the topics on the agenda were discussed, which included selecting the executive director of the fund and reviewing the fund's initial road or work map, okay? Prime Minister, they talked about this, and he pointed out that the fund began in 2017, so this isn't really all that new. But what does it represent? It represents a modern interface for Iraq in the international standards, and that's basically what everybody's doing, whether it's in banking, finance, customs, electronic systems, all of those things that we know about. He goes on and he stresses the necessity of working with the mentality of the private sector. There again, the private sector is being invoked because that's what this is all about. This 2023, 24, 25 budget is all about going to the private sector, working with the public sector at the same time, having that symbiotic relationship. So it's all good. It says that the necessity of doing that private sector, especially since there are representatives of it on the fund's board of directors who can contribute to proposals for the optimal mechanism. Wally, okay, hold on a minute. Sorry about that, guys. Where was I? Oh, it says the fund's board of directors who can contribute to the proposals for the optimal mechanism for dealing with companies and facilitating their procedures. All right, so what did they just say was effectively that they got the private sector entities are on this Iraq Fund for Development on the board of directors. And they have a goal to try to get that optimal mechanism for dealing with companies that are coming in and facilitating their procedures. So earlier I mentioned that the U.S. Arab Chamber of Commerce, right? So if you go onto that site, you're going to find that they talk about some things that are talking about internationalism, okay? They talk about commercial invoice legalization service, the significance of commercial invoice legalization. They talk about the a facilitator of trade. I won't go through the whole thing, but ultimately speaking, in this particular is that in an ever-expanding global market, international trade has become an integral component of economic growth and prosperity. And I think you guys all understand that. What is it for? To foster smooth trade relations between countries. A comprehensive network of services emerged to facilitate cross-border transactions. So we all know about cross-border transactions. Legalization of commercial invoices plays a vital role in ensuring authenticity and legality of trade documents. Okay, so that's just right there, you guys. You can see that where this is headed is to go international. The facilitator of trade, it says the U.S. Arab Chamber of Commerce stands as a prominent entity dedicated to enhancing commercial relationships between the United States and the Arab world, including Iraq. One of its core services is providing commercial invoice legalization, which is particularly crucial for businesses engaged in cross-border trade with Iraq. There's plenty more. You can go onto their website. They have expertise, efficiencies, credibility. They just go on and on about it, and it's fascinating. So that's really a big issue. There's also, if you guys go online and you go onto the WTO's website and you go to ITC, International Trade Center, then you click on that. Once you get there, put that into your search engine on the WTO site. You're going to find that there's you'll come to the ITC, scroll down. There's an International Trade Center desk or help system. Click on that, and you're going to be able to go into that, and it'll pull up to where you can type in Iraq, you can type in oil, and you can type in China, for instance, and you can go through that, and you can see that they're set up on the WTO's website. And why is that important? Is because, well, they've done trade in the past. We know that oil goes to China. We know that oil, believe it or not, goes to the United States. So you can play with it, type in Iraq, type in oil in the drop down. It'll give you numbers, okay, when you type in just the word oil. You can even try olives for like olive oil, for instance, right? And then just use different countries and play with it a little bit. And you're going to go, wow. So these guys are already hooked up. They're already set up. They have code numbers already today at the WTO. So effectively, even though they're not international completely yet, they haven't published a session. You can see, though, that they're ready to go. It's really phenomenal. So I want to thank you guys for being here tonight, because I think we have some positive information all the way around. All the things that I mentioned in the last 3 videos that I've done, I think you guys can get a good quality education and be positive, be upbeat. There's nothing bad as far as I can see at the moment, and we'll see. Anything can happen, anything can change. But hey, if you like the content that we have, hey, hit that like button. subscribe. And if you'd like to help keep this place going, because again, we don't advertise in my message that I just gave you guys, it helps keep the content flowing smoothly and quickly. It's nice. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.
Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content. Subscribe to the channel or join us at the Militiaman and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much and have a great day.